very special day today, so I wanted to come on here and just hang out with you guys. We're going to talk about the recent ecological disasters that are happening. I'm going to give you my perspective on why it's happening and how we can support the planetary body and our own bodies in moving through this period of time we're going to have on Earth, where we are experiencing a little bit of warring, okay? These people are basically trying to oppress an awakening of an elemental consciousness that is on Earth happening right now. So it has to do with water, has to do with plasma, it has to do with how our bodies are literally 99% water from an elemental molecular composition kind of perspective. And so lately I've been getting this massive activation into water. And before we dive into all of that, I just want to say happy birthday to ESA. It is 222. Last year on this day, we had a very soft and quiet launch of the EarthStar Academy. Of course, our official launch was in October, but 222 was really the day when so many of you were able to begin your training and hop into the mothership. And so it was a very special day here. It's now officially been 1 year that I have been building this curriculum, and we're still just at the tail end of the foundations level. And I just wanted to give you guys a window into kind of what happens in my life for me to be able to piece this curriculum together. Lately, we've been talking about detox and body consciousness because our physical body is just such an important part of our mission. And part of that is this massive water consciousness activation that have been rolling through my life in the last couple of weeks. Since I made the Aurora Crystal Star sound chamber, that was really this cellular repair cosmic water frequency. So many of you picked up on the water frequency when you heard the sound chamber. You were like, oh my God, I'm in the cosmic waters. Well, little did I know, it was literally the cosmic plasma that was weaving the sound chamber through me. Like when I was making this sound chamber, I could feel just woomy water all around me. I could feel this watery plasma interacting with my body. And slowly I've come to learn that what it was doing was activating the fascia system inside of my body. So water, there is something that has been, this is something that humans have been researching, but even the highest level scientists will tell you that water is an extraordinary element. And, you know, there are certain elements that have certain anomalies when they are researching, right? Like, for example, there are certain elements of water that just doesn't make sense according to physics. In the laws of physics, all elements should be acting in certain ways. And a lot of elements have certain anomalies, meaning they're just not acting in accordance to the physics that we know. But water has 70 anomalies. I can't name them all, but water is a very unique and special substance. And especially lately, there has been researchers that are studying the consciousness of water. So most of us at this time have heard about Dr. Emoto. He was researching water crystals by freezing water, and he was recognizing that when you send positive emotions to water, it would form these beautiful crystals, whereas when you send negative emotions to water, it would form these kind of non-geometric shapes. Well, there's a lady that an ESA student recently brought to my attention. Her name is Veda Austin, and she's been doing continued research on the freezing of water crystals. And what she's been establishing is literally a psychic connection with water. You can find her on Instagram, and basically she posts these pictures of these water crystals. She'll ask the water questions or send water certain prompts and get all of this feedback right from the water, this telepathic communication that is forming. Of course, I have been communicating with water for many years. Water has been one of my primary guides in this shamanic journey. And so to have this now be researched and almost scientifically affirmed, this is something that is very exciting. Now, since having made that sound chamber, I feel like water has opened up this whole vast universe of knowledge for me to begin to integrate and study. And one of those things is that when you ask water, what is God? Water will actually say water. And so there is consciousness inside of water, and that is why literally all of life essentially has water molecules inside of the bodies. Okay, and even in space, it's a very watery, well, it's plasma, it's another state of this water substance, and it is full of energy, full of cosmic creation, and full of consciousness. Now, the whole thing about plasma is that it's everywhere, and you can't control it. You can't separate plasma from itself because it's literally what is connecting everything in the universe, right? And so when the universe decides that a whole planet of people is going to wake up, all it has to really do is to communicate through the elements, communicate through the water molecules in the air, through the plasma in the air, because all human beings, no matter where they are on the planet, they're constantly breathing in the elements. They're constantly exchanging fluids through their skin, right? And so when the water consciousness begins to awaken, there's literally no stopping the Great Awakening from happening on the planet. I've been sensing, and the grid workers have been doing this for many years in our ceremonies, where we would literally connect in with the elemental body, which bypasses the human mind, where the human body then begins to start to reconnect and receive and oscillate at this higher consciousness. And that is literally what the sun is doing, right? These plasmic solar rays are activating the water in our body, in the earth, in the air, and this amazing planetary consciousness frequency increase is occurring, okay? Now, there then is this absolute war on water consciousness, and I feel like this is ultimately what is the root of this ecological disaster that happened in the beginning of this month. I'll flash an image of what I'm talking about, but I don't want to get flagged here in this video. But essentially, in this situation at the beginning of the month, there was a disaster, and all of these man-made materials were flooded into the earth. And this created a lot of pollution, specifically to the water. And the location that this happened in is literally the head of a lot of the water tables of the US. So this felt like a direct attack on the water, especially because I've been witnessing this massive awakening of water consciousness on the planet, a few weeks before this was happening. Now, there is so many cool things about plasma and water. One of the things that I've been learning about is that when you make plasma activated water, which is when you electrocute basically with plasma the water, so lightning. When lightning strikes water, you have plasma activated water, and that water becomes a very purified version of itself, and it also becomes an extremely good cleanser. So this water can actually replace all of the pesticides that we use in the world, and this is a science, a technology that we've known about for a long time. And so there's literally no reason for us to be poisoning our water systems, which of course is a continued attack on consciousness on this planet. The cool thing about this is that we can actually interact with the plasma in space, with the ether. We can communicate with the water molecules, and so we can all actually be communicating with the elements in the air and supporting the water in its purification process. Hopefully, somebody's watching this that has access to a lot of financial resources to be able to literally use these technologies to clean our water. I think that eventually we will be implementing these technologies, which, by the way, the government is using already for its military bases. Another amazing thing I learned about plasma this week was that we can actually use the same plasma technology to transform our landfills into the cleanest biofuel. And it's going to have, 95% of that matter could be turned into a fuel that is cleaner than propane. And also the residue left over of that process can be used to make roads and become a building material. So again, these technologies have existed for decades, And actually the military is using them, but they're just, they want to pollute the world because pollution causes consciousness to not be able to communicate between its parts. And so we end up having a lower consciousness in people because we're intoxicated, which is why the detoxing is so important. Okay, so as all of this information was flooding in and through me all of this week, I started to realize and learn all about the fascia system and how fascia is really the microcosmic reflection of plasma. Plasma travels in these thin lines and sheets of energy, and it connects literally everything in the universe. It is the source of energy. It is the source of the energy of the sun. The sun is really pulling on the cosmic plasma and condensing it in one spot. Okay, it's so cool. So all of this universe is literally connected through this consciousness, this very quantum matter material of plasma. And the earthly reflection of that is really our nervous and fascia systems. And when we begin to connect the cosmic plasma energy with our inner fascia system, this is when we really begin to activate a high consciousness of body intelligence. And we're basically through the 1.6 vessel optimization class, reawakening the plasma consciousness and the fascial intelligence inside of our body through the elements, through our cells, through our organs, learning about how all the different organs, we're actually going to journey into each specific organ one by one to learn about its consciousness, to learn that it has an impact on ourself. And this is all so amazing, and why the EarthStar Academy curriculum just blows my mind, because, so oftentimes we're trying to do all this spiritual stuff, right? Trying to talk to aliens and telepath and open our DNA and all these things, but we try to bypass supporting our human body. When the thing is that when our organs are depleted, when we don't have the right minerals in our body, it's very difficult for our body to perform those already natural tasks. Those spiritual abilities are natural to the body, just like breathing, just like digesting our food. Our bodies are capable of communing and connecting to cosmic intelligence because it's made of that star stuff. Okay, it's a natural process. But in order for the body to be able to naturally do those things, it needs the right nutrients and the right connections and the right support for its systems. And so in the final course of our foundations level, we're going to be diving into reanimating these forces and learning about how sometimes we think it's psychic attack when really it's just our liver that is screaming because it's processing all of these toxins that have consciousness, right? Think about the food that we eat that has touched the farmers and all of these things, and all of that energy is literally getting processed and filtered in our liver, and our liver, it's holding on to those energies because it doesn't want the rest of your body to be intoxicated, but it doesn't know how to clear that energy. So for decades, it's just holding on to that toxicity. And here we think we're being attacked by a demon because there's some very dense consciousness inside of our body, when really it's just our liver having a hard time. So this is why this is part of the foundations level. We're going to be going through all of these organ systems so that we can be sure that when we're doing sessions on people and when we're healing the earth, we're not just picking up subtle frequencies that are our own organs yelling for our attention instead of some external force. And, to be honest, I think 80% of what people believe to be psychic attacks and things like that are actually just our ancestors, our blood energy, our organs, our trauma, our inner children, our past lives. And even, once we have filed through those things, absolutely, there are the negative alien implants and the grid lines. But the reason why we go through this before we even touch those things is so that we can be absolutely sure that our interoception is pure and crystalline, that we're able to perceive and channel energy as oracles and as psychics. This is absolutely essential, right? How do we know that we're channeling clear energy? Well, we have a clear vessel, a clear oracle channel that we can tell what is our own energy because we've gone in to explore all the living dimensions of ourself. So I'm so excited about that, but I'm also apologetic for the speed of which this curriculum comes through. I know that so many of you have been with the Academy for a whole year, and those of you that have been, I would love for you to write in the comments in this video, your experience with ESA, because we really want our community to know just how amazing and magical this light technology is. I am constantly in awe because, I'm really not creating this curriculum really on my own. What I'm doing is just paying attention. For the last 10 years, I have been inside of this immense training container with the guardians, with the earth, with my ancestors, and they've been guiding me through all of these experiences to show me the very important, multifaceted, and very deep realities of our experience as human beings and star beings. Hey, that's why our curriculum is so multifaceted and multi-step, and every step has been so important for our development and for the next step. If you're wanting to be the world's best healer, to be very competent so that you can hold space for tens of millions of people to come into ascension consciousness, these are really the foundational things that each and every one of us must be aware of. And so in order for this curriculum to come through, I have to go through these initiations myself. And these initiations are also timed in accordance with the cosmic and planetary ascension timelines. And so right now we're going through this massive plasma activation, which, by the way, the Aurora Crystal Star Sound Chamber that you can find on my YouTube channel, I'll link it somewhere hopefully here, you can actually begin to connect in with cosmic plasma energy through this sound chamber, which is what the aurora is actually made of. The aurora borealis is plasma, which is so cool. And through working with that sound chamber, you're actually activating the plasma consciousness, the fascia, the interstitial watery fluid that is inside of the body that is highly conscious. And when this consciousness activates inside of the body, healing, awakening, ascension, these things are natural processes that will begin to unfold in our life. So I'm so excited to give you guys a little window into how this works. I mean, it is really a full-time job. I mean, it's more than a full-time job because I go to sleep integrating these codes and, processing, activating these plasmic energies so I can hold them in my body, so I can transform them into English words, and a step-by-step process so that you can begin to integrate these things in your life. So this is the 1-year anniversary of our soft launch. And for those of you that have been really on the fence about joining, this is such a great time for you to step onto the mothership. We're so excited to be stepping into the intermediate level curriculum basically next month. And that is where we're going to start to learn about psychic abilities, journeying, channeling our own soul's gnosis, cosmic intelligence, implant removal, grid work, all of those things founded on a very solid foundation of deep inner gnosis, right? Founded on the reality that you know yourself and every single one of your organs so clearly that you never have to, question or doubt yourself ever again because you truly know yourself so deeply. So I hope you are excited. I hope you're as excited about water and plasma as I am. This is a newly integrating consciousness, and so I'm sure I'm going to be making more videos about this in the future. And I will see you soon. Bye.